top 36 running back rankings for week 9. I'm Ron from Never Lucky. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here. I truly do appreciate it. We're kind of switching it up this week, man. We're doing running back rankings. We haven't really done too much rankings thus far, but I think it's very helpful at this point in the season. You know, you guys might be making decisions between a couple running backs. The top guys you're probably starting. But nevertheless, let's talk through them, man. And we're starting at the top, dude. We got tier 1 here. We got the top 12. We got Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Achane, Henry. Let's break it down one by one. We got Christian McCaffrey at the Giants, coming off a little bit of a dud, but it's an absolutely fantastic matchup. I think it's a get-right game. I mean, he's been right all season. It's a get-righter game, right, from his dud. He's just going to smash, man. Like, I have him ahead of Taylor simply because of that fact. We got Jonathan Taylor going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look, the Steelers' defense is bad, but it's usually their secondary that gets carved up. Their run defense, it's also bad, but it's not quite as bad as the secondary. So it seems like teams are just really picking on the Steelers, right? So Jonathan Taylor's still going to get home. I still think he's got like 2-3 touchdown upside, obviously. Looks like this team is trying to get Jonathan Taylor like the fucking touchdown record or something. So you're obviously starting him. You're starting Achane against the Baltimore Ravens, who have been bad. They've given up quite a lot of points to running backs. And the first matchup that I do want to like linger on a little bit is Derrick Henry, man, going up against the Miami Dolphins in this Thursday night game. I think Achane and Henry both eat, but I do think Henry has a little bit of a better matchup. As you guys can see here, the Dolphins are currently 7th worst in fantasy points allowed to running backs. They've given up 27 fantasy points on average, 5 rushing touchdowns the last 4 weeks. So, by the way, just context, this chart is just the last 4 weeks of fantasy production. There's also a 2-week chart, but I wanted to do 4 because I think it's a little bit more indicative. The last 2 weeks could just be matchup based. So there it is, man. The Miami Dolphins, dude, they're leaking right now. They are absolutely leaking fantasy production to running backs. So Derrick Henry, dude, he's got a chance for number 1 overall on the week, but it's just tough to rank him ahead of these other guys, right? Jahmyr Gibbs up next against Minnesota. And, you know, it's a little bit of a different situation with Derrick Henry. Gibbs, obviously, he's goated. He's one of the best running backs. But matchup-wise, he's got a tough one, man. Minnesota, they're currently 8th, right? They've only given up 17 fantasy points on average to running backs. But the part that really scares me is the receiving profile, right? So they've only given up 8 receptions for 58 yards, no receiving touchdowns. They've only given up 1 rushing touchdown the last couple weeks. Minnesota Vikings are actually a decent run D, man. So obviously, I think the Lions can still get home. I think they can just unlock the defense and just be perfectly fine. But that's why I don't have Gibbs any higher. Usually I'd have Gibbs way higher, right? And then we got Bijan Robinson as well next. Again, why is he so low? Same exact chart, man. Patriots, number 2 in fantasy points allowed to running backs the last 4 weeks. No rushing touchdowns, no receiving touchdowns. This is going to be a tough one. Bijan could accrue some yardage in this one, but the Patriots are for real, dude. Their run D has been really good. Their secondary is also good, right? Ever since they got Gonzalez back. The Patriots are a defense I do not want to fuck with, man. And Vrabel is coaching them up. But Bijan, you know, maybe he can unlock them. But, you know, the Atlanta Falcons have really kind of tapered off the last couple weeks. So I'm worried. You're still going to start him, but I'm definitely a little bit worried. Josh Jacobs up next against Carolina. Good matchup. He's involved. Workhorse back. You know, the Panthers are reeling. They're probably going to start Andy Dalton again. I don't know. Maybe someone can fact check me on that one. Javonte Williams as well. Great offense. They want to run the ball. He's like number 3 in expected fantasy points on the season. And it's a decent matchup, right? The Cardinals are not a team you want to fear. They're also not horrible. They're kind of just middle of the pack against running backs. James Cook after Javonte. Cook, you know, buried down here kind of in the top 10 at number 9 against Kansas City. Let's show the chart one more time. Number 1, dude. Kansas City Chiefs are for real. 56 rush attempts for only 199 yards. 15 receptions for 131. So they give up a little to receiving backs. That's probably going to be the out here, right? If James Cook can get some receptions and just, you know, if this can be a back and forth game, maybe it's high scoring. That's the way for James Cook to produce. But I am definitely worried. This is the best run defense in the NFL. And then there's always the risk of Josh Allen running in touchdowns. So this could be a down week for James Cook, but you're still obviously starting him. Kyren Williams up next against the Saints. They're neither bad nor good against the run. They've shown up a couple games, but Kyren, he just gets most of the valuable stuff, right? You're definitely going to start Kyren. It's just such a good offense. Kamani Vidal, I guess the first surprising player here on this list. He's currently at number 12. This team came out and said that he's a 1A running back, that he's like a number one running back. He's playing like it at the moment. They have faith in him. They're going to give him all the work. Hassan Haskins is a complete fart. He's irrelevant. He's not going to even probably play in this game, I believe. And we see that the Titans are, eighth worst in fantasy points allowed to running backs. Teams are just winning against them. They're running the ball so much, and the Titans can't really stop it, right? Like 6 touchdowns the last 4 games, 1 touchdown through the air. This is going to be a game where Vidal, unfortunately, I'm playing against him in a very important league. I think there's a chance the dude outperforms these expectations. Next, we got 13 to 24. Let's talk about some of these guys. We got Chase Brown first in this list going up against the Chicago Bears. Kind of interesting, man, because I was surprised to see that the Bears are only allowing 14 fantasy points a game to running backs, only 2 rushing touchdowns the last 4 weeks. And the receiving part is what really worries me here, right? We got only 7 receptions for 38 yards, no receiving touchdowns. Obviously, Chase Brown gets the receiving touchdown last game. He had 24 fantasy points. Joe Flacco's got a little bit of a shoulder injury. I think he's probably going to play. He's going to get an injection. He did it in the last game to finish out the game. I think there's a chance Flacco plays, but is he going to be as efficient as he is and as good as he's been? That's the problem here. That's why I have this matchup circled. That's why I do think it could be one where Chase Brown, after a big game in week 8, probably has a down game in this one. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's still involved enough. He's losing work to Samaje Perine. So let's just hope that Flacco plays here, right? Jaylen Warren as well against Indy. Tough matchup. Indy's actually really good against running backs, really good. They get turnovers, they get sacks. It's a tough team to play against, but Jaylen Warren is just so involved. He's a workhorse back. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are a competent enough offense. Maybe they can hang with the Colts. Ashton Jeanty as well against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Jaguars were good early on. They've been getting smacked by some teams in the past couple weeks, right? The Rams specifically blew the brakes off of them. But I think the Jaguars probably dominate the Raiders. Now, anything can happen, but coming out of the bye, I think the Jags are going to be playing a little bit more motivated, a little bit inspired. And Jeanty, workhorse back, going to get the work. Hopefully he gets receptions to come home. But, if he doesn't get the receiving work and, the Raiders are just getting smacked, this is going to be a tough one, man, where I don't think Jeanty is going to be able to return value here and actually perform. Tyrone Tracy, we don't know the workload. It's complete speculation on whether he's going to be the workhorse back, how many carries Singletary is going to get. We're all just assuming it's going to be Tracy as just the lead guy taking over the Cam Scataba role. That's likely. That's why I have him here, also ranked ahead of Etienne, Dobbins, and these guys, but there's a chance, man. There's a sliver of a chance that Singletary is a little bit more involved than we like. Maybe Singletary is even the early down guy. It's possible, right? He's the highest paid running back on this team. I just don't envision it, right? I mean, Tracy stole the job from him last season. It'd be weird if they then went back to Singletary. And it's against the Niners, where I think it could be a back and forth game. I think CMC and Tracy can go back and forth here. Both teams don't really have the best defenses. Then Travis Etienne in a really good matchup. Let's look at the chart one more time. They're playing against the Raiders, who are currently 6th worst against running backs, 27 fantasy points a game, 5 rushing touchdowns the last couple games. This could be a get-right game, dude. Not only for Etienne, but, 2 might even be a sneaky little start here against the Raiders, who are just abysmal. J.K. Dobbins, tough matchup against Houston. I was actually surprised about that. Let's look at the chart one more time. The Texans are currently 7th in the NFL in fantasy points against running backs. They've given up 17 fantasy points a game on average. Only 3 rushing touchdowns. Their defense has been playing really good. It's kind of being carried by their secondary. They have a really good secondary, and then their run defense kind of benefits from that. But nevertheless, I can't rank them any lower, man. It's just a really good offense. The Broncos have been playing really good football. Dobbins, he's good for a touchdown or 100 yards pretty much every game. But this is going to be a true test. It is a tough matchup the past couple weeks. So let's see what happens, man. Let's see if RJ Harvey is a little bit more involved than we like. This is one that I'm a little bit worried about. I would definitely be nervous about starting Dobbins in this matchup. Kareem Hunt up next. Good matchup against the Buffalo Bills. Could be a shootout. He's now going to be the lead back. I don't think Brashard Smith is going to get any type of early down stuff. And we see that Buffalo Bills are also on this list, man. 5th worst against running backs. 28 fantasy points on average given up to running backs, 5 rushing touchdowns. The game plan against the Bills is always to run the ball as much as you can. The run D is not good, and you want to keep the ball away from Josh Allen. So that's kind of the template for how to beat the Bills. Now, my concern, obviously, with Hunt is that this is like a super important game. Are they going to rely on Kareem Hunt and make him the focal point? I highly doubt it. I think this is just going to be a shootout between Mahomes and Josh Allen. But the matchup, the over-under, all of it is telling us that Kareem Hunt can probably fall in the end zone a couple times if it's a high over-under. Then we got David Montgomery and Dowdle. We'll talk about them together. Both two early down backs in bad matchups, right? Like both of them are playing against really tough opponents. So let's look at the chart. Montgomery against Minnesota, only 17 fantasy points allowed the last 4 weeks to running backs. It's not great. That's per game, by the way. Then we got Rico Dowdle against Green Bay. They're currently third best in the NFL, right? They're only giving up 13.9 fantasy points a game. They've been great all season. So this is going to be a tough game, man. Like the coaching staff has said that Rico Dowdle is going to get a lot more of the work in this one. That's just how people are interpreting the comments from Canales. So I don't really know, dude. It could just still be a Chuba and Rico show, but it's a tough matchup. I was actually considering putting Rico even further down the rankings. I just think the matchup really scares me against Green Bay. I don't know if Carolina is going to be able to move the ball enough, man. Kenneth Walker against Washington. It's a whatever matchup. Washington has been just middle of the pack against running backs. But, Charbonnet is always around to steal goal line work. I think like he's due, right? I think Kenneth Walker is like due to get some goal line work here. Like it's kind of ridiculous how much goal line work they're taking away from him when it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Like just give him the ball. He's on the field already. He's capable. He's not a bad goal line back. I don't know. It's just strange. I feel like they're gonna, coming out of the bye, they're probably gonna be like, damn, maybe we've been kind of doing our boy dirty here. Rhamondre Stevenson and Zonovan Knight, two dudes who I hate, but they're in good matchups. Stevenson against Atlanta, actually second worst the last 4 weeks against running backs, dude. Their defense has really gotten shit on the last couple weeks. 89 for 396 and 2 on the ground. They've given up 3 receiving touchdowns the last 4 weeks. This team's getting gutted, dude. I think Rhamondre Stevenson could have a big game here, right? This offense is just absolutely humming. Zonovan Knight as well against Dallas. You see here, number 3 in the NFL last 4 weeks. They've given up 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 receiving. Listen, man, Dallas' secondary, bad. Their run D, bad. Their owner, bad. The fat chicks there, bad. So I don't want to, you want to start players against Dallas. They're the gift that keeps on giving. So Zonovan Knight, I don't know who he is. I don't know how he has a job, but he's the lead back at the moment, man. So we got to start our lead backs against Dallas. All right, boys. All right, let's breeze through the rest of these, man. Kamara at the Rams, bad matchup, not getting a lot of work. Now, Kendre Miller's out of the picture. Maybe he can get back to his, 3 down workload, but it looks like they want to get Devin Neal involved as a receiving back. Doesn't make sense to me. He needs to get traded. Woody Marks against Denver, tough matchup, but he's the receiving back. So there's a chance that it's Chubb, who's unusable in this game, with Woody Marks being the guy that can give them some production at the running back position. Jacory Croskey against Seattle, poor matchup. He's been bad the past couple weeks. So it looks like as his volume has increased, his efficiency has really gone down. His PFF grades have gone down. It doesn't look like the team is really fully prepared to just give him the full workload. Jeremy McNichols is actually looking really good as a receiving back, which really caps the upside of Bill. He's essentially Brian Robinson 2.0, except worse. Let's be honest. Brian Robinson was at least getting goal line, getting touchdowns. He was like, a good little grinder back, while Bill, I don't know, man. It's just like very hot or cold. Zach Charbonnet against the Commanders. Listen, I mean, he's probably going to get a touchdown in this game. Let's see what happens. They're coming out of a bye week. Maybe the workload shifts more toward Kenneth Walker. That's why I have him ranked ahead. I just think Charbonnet is very kind of boomer bust, dude, simply because he doesn't really get a lot of between the 20s work. He's mostly just a goal line guy. Aaron Jones, very tough matchup against the Lions. Let's look at it one more time. Lions are 4th best, man. They're not giving up a lot of points to running backs. If you're going to outplay the Lions, if you're going to beat them, it is going to be through the air. You're usually going to be playing from behind. So it's going to be a tough game, man. It's going to be tough for Aaron Jones to really produce. It's a very difficult matchup. I will say, if the Vikings are playing from behind, it would be Aaron Jones that would be the receiving back, the 3rd down back. So could be a little bit of a scam in this one. I'm a complete pussy, so I just ranked Spears and Pollard back to back here against the Chargers. A really good matchup here. We see that they're the 4th worst. They're giving up 28 fantasy points a game to running backs. They've given up 7 rushing touchdowns the last 4 weeks, man. The Chargers' run defense cannot stop a nosebleed at the moment. So Spears and Pollard, both great starts. I'd probably lean towards Spears. He's been out playing Pollard, more snaps. He looks much better than him on the field. And I think we probably assume that the Titans are losing this game, which means, you know, the Titans abandon the run fairly early in games, right? Like by the second quarter, they're losing by 2 touchdowns, and they're like, fuck it, dude. Let's just start chucking the ball, dude. Let's put Spears out there for some receiving work. Then we got Jordan Mason, very similar, you know, against the Lions. Really good defense. He's the early down back. He didn't really play much when Aaron Jones came back last week. It might be a Jover for Jordan Mason, man. We might have to start taking him out of the top 36, right? Next, I got not Cam Scataba. I know that's his picture and that's his name, but that's just an homage to him, dude. That's just to put respect on the man's name. It's actually Kyle Monangai, dude. Kyle Monangai, Kyle Monsungwe. He is going to be in the top 36, man. He's getting a lot of work. He's essentially in a even split with DeAndre Swift. I mean, not even. He's not getting any of the valuable stuff, but he's seen touches, dude. He's seen enough touches to be relevant against the Bengals. Do I need to remind you guys that the Bengals are the absolute worst team against running backs here? So, you know, 5 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown, hella yardage. The Bengals are a team you want to run the ball on. There's a chance that Monangai and Swift gets home here in this game. And let's just finish the list, man. We got RJ Harvey getting a little bit more work, being very efficient with the work, gets 3 touchdowns in the last game. I think there's a chance that this team starts to lean toward RJ Harvey here, but again, it's a very tough matchup against the Houston Texans. We already talked about it for J.K. Dobbins. Same thing applies here. I will say though, man, I'm a little bit interested in RJ Harvey here because, you know, I was thinking about moving him a little further up because if the Houston Texans run defense is really good and Dobbins isn't very effective, wouldn't it be RJ Harvey that kind of profits from that and benefits? You know, maybe they use him a little bit more out of the backfield or as a receiving threat. Then Chuba Hubbard, rest in peace, dude. It sucks to see what happened to Chuba, man. I say this in almost every video. If it was Rico that got injured for those 2 games against Miami and Dallas, does Chuba just become the workhorse back rest of the season and it looks great? He just got injured at the worst possible time, dude. The 2 worst games to get injured for, and Rico just essentially stole the job from him, man. He had to watch his job get stolen, dude. He got absolutely cuckolded on the sideline. And because of that, going up against the Green Bay Packers, it's a tough matchup. It looks like he's going to lose some of that work. It might be over for him too, man. This might be the last time we see Chuba Hubbard, dude. I'll pull one out for him. Might be the last time we see him here in the top 36. And then I didn't have the picture and the name uploaded here on Tier Maker, but it is not Chuba Hubbard, not Joe Mixon. It's Nick Chubb here at the end. Going up against Denver, good run D, good passing D. The Texans have looked better. Nick Chubb is the early down back. He actually is outperforming Woody Marks just between the tackles, you know, in his rushing EPA and stuff. But again, it's a tough defense, maybe negative game script. I do think it might be a Woody game in this one. That does it for the video, guys. Thank you for being here. My mouth is dry as hell. I really appreciate you guys giving me your time. Let me know what you guys think about these tier makers, right? These tier lists with the top 36 and stuff like that. I have all this info on an Excel sheet. It's all uniform, color coded. I got, you know, matchups to avoid and stuff. But nobody likes looking at Excel sheets, I think. So I did the tier maker. Takes a lot more time. Let me know what you guys think. Live stream on Sunday. Again, make sure you guys join the Discord if you want to get your questions answered. Thank you again to everyone for being there at the live stream last Sunday. That shit was fun. It's always fun every Sunday. I want to do more live streams. It's tough with the time difference. You know, I'm in Germany. So let me know what you guys think about these videos. And I actually had to record this video twice because my mic wasn't on. So if you feel for your boy, if you have any type of sympathy, like the video, really helps to reach more people. Subscribe if you want to catch more. We're doing more rankings as the week progresses. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.